I'm Priscilla Ortega. Welcome to Fulton at Work. Coming up on today's show, Health Services is working to make sure the places where you eat and swim are safe. Learn about all the work the health department does to protect residents from diseases and dangerous hazards. That's coming up on this edition of Fulton at Work. Stay with us. Welcome back to Fulton at Work. Today we're taking a closer look at Health Services Environmental Health Division. Eli Jones, Environmental Health Deputy Director, joins us to explain the services his team provides in order to make sure residents are safe. Welcome to Fulton at Work, Eli.
Thank you for having me.
Now, what are some of the things the Environmental Health Division works on?
Environmental health permits restaurants, tourist accommodations, pools. We also do health education on various programs, and we also help regulate rodents, mosquitoes, anything to do with West Nile virus.
Okay, great. So let's start with West Nile virus and larviciding. For those who don't know, what is larviciding?
Larviciding is dispersing larvicide. It's better known as a mosquito dunk. The way it works is if there's stagnant water, for example, a bird bath, old tire that's holding water, then you would disperse the mosquito dunk into the stagnant water, and it would create a film on the top of the water, which would get rid of all the mosquitoes and kill off any of the mosquitoes or mosquitoes' eggs that might be there.
And how well does larviciding work?
It works. It's very effective. It's not a permanent resolution. What will happen is it will disperse on the top of the layer of the water, of the stagnant water. Once it rains again, though, it will become diluted. And once it becomes diluted, then it may need to be treated again if it becomes infested with mosquitoes again.
Okay, so what else does the environmental health do to prevent West Nile virus?
The environmental staff itself does not go out and perform mosquito spraying, but we do contract that work out. And various areas of Fulton County do receive mosquito spraying throughout the hotter months. And we also disperse educational pamphlets, educational materials from our offices to the public who requires it or wishes to have so.
And what is a typical time frame for mosquito season?
Mosquito season, pretty much anytime that's hot, mosquitoes can breed. Normally it can be late April, early May to usually September, unless we have a hot season that runs into October, and then mosquitoes will continue to be a nuisance.
So people that are at home, they're wanting to prevent mosquitoes in their yard. What are some of the tips that you have for them?
Anything that holds stagnant water will be a problem and can be conducive to breeding mosquitoes. So a bird bath, a bucket that has stagnant water, meaning water that still is not flowing. Most importantly, old tires are a real issue. A neighbor's pool that's abandoned, there might be a pool that's not well kept, there might be an abandoned home. That's a problem issue as far as breeding mosquitoes. So if it's your place, dump the water out. If it's a neighbor's place, feel free to call our office. We'll send someone out and we will larvicide that abandoned pool for you.
Okay, great. Is there anything else you want to add about West Nile prevention?
The key word is prevention. Just because West Nile is not as popular as it once was, it is still there. Use sprays. Like I said, get rid of anything that's conducive to breeding or attracting mosquitoes to your property or where you live. Anything that can, for example, if you get bit by a mosquito and you feel ill, don't hesitate to go get checked out. West Nile still is out there, it still exists. Don't put off getting checked out if you have any kind of flu-like symptoms after you believe you've been bit by a mosquito.
Okay, great. Helpful information. Well, environmental health also inspects pools to make sure they are working properly and are safe. We recently followed along with one of the county's environmental specialists, Joette Wesley, on a recent inspection. Take a look as she walks us through how it's done.
Hi, my name is Joette Wesley, Senior Environmental Specialist for Fulton County Environmental Health. Today I'm going to be doing a pool inspection. We're here at Washington Park, located on Ollie Street. They have two pools here at their facility. The first one is an Olympic-sized swimming pool, and the second one is their rehab pool. So we're going to start by taking measurements, specifically the pH and the chlorine, to make sure that the pool is balanced for the Olympic-sized swimming pool, and then we'll do the same thing for the rehab pool. The reason that we measure the pool, the chlorine, as well as the pH, is to make sure that the pool is properly being disinfected. So you want to make sure that, sometimes people come to the pool and they have on sunscreen, they have on lotion, they have on t-shirts, perfume, Vaseline. You want to make sure that the pool is always at a proper reading. And a proper reading for the health department, the chlorine, it has to be at least 2.0 to 10.0 for the chlorine reading, and then for the pH it has to be at least 7.2 to 8.0. You always want to make sure that the pool is balanced to make sure that one is not too high, because that's a bad sign, and then if it's too low, then that's bad as well. One reason a pool would be closed if the pool would be unbalanced. If it doesn't meet the requirements that I stated earlier, that would cause the pool to be closed. If the telephone or emergency line is not operable, that will cause a pool to be closed as well. You want to make sure that safety is important, so you have to make sure that the telephone is always working and it dials directly to 911. It cannot have a third party, it has to dial directly to 911. So dial 911, then the 911 operator will answer and then dispatch whoever needs to come to the site. We also make sure that they have an address posted in the facility, because a lot of times people don't know the address of the location that they're at. And that's a question that 911 asks, but a lot of people never know. They'll just say, I'm at Washington Park. Well, where is the pool located? And if you're panicking, you're not going to try to figure out what the address is. So that's a reason that we have them post the address at the particular site. Another reason that a pool could be closed is if the actual enclosure is not locking properly. So if there's a safety reason coming in with like the fence, so if this were an outdoor pool and the safety lock would not lock, and people could just climb the fence or come in, because we do have fence height requirements. So the fence has to be at least 5 feet and with no step up. So for example, you can't step into a fence and hop over. You can't have a ledge or a landing to step up on to get up over the fence. You want to make sure that the pool is protected at all times, because people can drown in the pool, which is why we in environmental health always go for safety. Another thing that we do to make sure that the facility is in compliance is to make sure that they have swimming pool rules. The county, in our code, we have 12 specific rules that you have to have. Now, they clearly have more than 12, and that's fine, but as long as our 12 are on here, we want to make sure that they meet our requirements. When we come into the pump room, you want to make sure that one is air exchange, whether it's on the door, some type of ventilation, especially in a pump room this large. There has to be some type of ventilation so that when the inspector comes in or the CPO comes in, nobody will pass out. Also, another thing is you want to make sure that these two pools have heaters. So one is set at 95 degrees and the other one is at 94. You want to make sure that it does not exceed 102, and that's our compliance standard. Then you have a vat here, which is this large container. This particular vat is used to pump chlorine into the pool, and there's another one that's used for pH. So I'm going to go inside of the pump room. It's kind of loud in there, but I'm going to go inside of the pump room. I'm going to make sure that everything is labeled, and I'm going to make sure that the chemical feeders that they have, one for chlorine and one for pH, are properly working. So this is a copy of the inspection report that I'm going to fill out now that the inspection is complete. I'll of course put the pool name, address, the time that I started and ended. And then this particular pool, the type of inspection is a formal inspection, and it's a routine inspection as well. So I'll indicate the chlorine and the pH, and then I'll make sure that I complete all of the rows in this particular form. This particular pool does not have a gas room, so that will be an X drawn over. This pool did pass because they did meet the requirements. They are in compliance as according to Fulton County's pool code. So I will mark on this particular inspection report that the pool is approved to open. It does not need an inspection, and this is a year-round pool because it's an indoor pool. We in Environmental Health inspect every pool within Fulton County, which is an 88-mile radius, whether it's a commercial pool, a training pool, a training facility, a recreational facility, but we make sure that every pool within the county is in compliance. Thank you for joining me today for this inspection. You all have a great day. Back to you.
Thank you, Joya, for that demonstration. So Eli, we just saw the steps taken during a recent pool inspection. About how many pool inspections are done each year?
On average in Fulton County, we do about 7,200 pool inspections per year.
And is that within the whole county?
That's all of Fulton County. That's more than any other district in the state of Georgia and any other county in the state of Georgia. Fulton has the most.
Okay, and what do you want residents to know about pool safety?
For me, I can look at it two different ways. One is my title as the Deputy Director of Environmental Health, or as a parent. As a parent, if you're there with your kid, definitely look at pool safety equipment. Can you save a kid if they were able to accidentally fell into a pool? They're just called a shepherd's hook. It's a long pole. It has to be clearly visible. It has to be accessible to anybody within the pool barrier. It's usually very long, 12, 16 feet long, and it has a hook on the end of it. The specific use of the shepherd's hook, if somebody's drowning in the pool and needs help, you grab the long pole with the hook on it and you hook them and pull them out and pull them to safety. Obviously another more common known is the life preserver, which will have a rope attached to it, which needs to be the width and a half of the pool in order to throw to somebody that might be in danger in the pool. Those are two common. They have to be at every pool that's permitted through Environmental Health. Other things to look out for, locate the 911 phone or the 911 box when you're at a public pool that's permitted through Environmental Health. Just in case of emergency, the last thing you want to do is be running around trying to locate the 911 phone or box. It should be clearly visible. It should be clearly with a sign showing what it is and where it's at. Pay attention to things like that, just in case, worst case scenario, you had to have a life-saving equipment, which is all required with a permitted pool. Another thing that's really important with small children is all the gates and have to self-latch. They have to shut by themselves. So when you walk through a gate or a door to a pool, it must shut by itself. The reasoning for that is if a child not accompanied by an adult, if the gate doesn't latch or shut by itself, then any small child could easily wander into the pool and fall into the pool and nobody would know that. So make sure the gate shuts by itself when you visit a public pool.
Great, and is there anything you want residents to know about the pool inspections your team does?
Every pool that's permitted through Fulton County Environmental Health, the pool has to have a certified pool operator servicing the pool. They have to take an extensive test to become a certified pool operator, better known as a CPO. Our staff will go behind the CPO and make sure they have done what is required in order for a pool to open up and to maintain their permit and remain open.
Great. Well, we will take a quick break, and when we come back, we will discuss the work Health Services does to protect residents when they go out to eat and stay at a hotel. Stay with us. Welcome back to Fulton at Work. Today we're talking to Eli Jones, Deputy Director of Environmental Health. Now, Eli, let's talk about restaurant inspections. Why is it important to inspect restaurants?
Several reasons. Most importantly to me is preventing a foodborne illness or outbreak. Is the food properly prepared, and are they taking the steps to protect the customer? Two of the most common things to me is cold holding temperatures and hot holding temperatures. Cold holding temperatures, you have to hold it 41 degrees or below, and for anything cold. Hot holding temperatures 135 degrees or higher to maintain anything that's hot. Anything between 41 degrees and 135 degrees is considered the danger zone, and anything that's bad pretty much can lead to foodborne illness, grows in between the danger zone.
All right, great. And what about hotel inspections? What should residents look for when they check into a hotel?
When checking into a hotel, this is me as an environmental deputy director and me as have a family and father. Do a self-assessment of the room when you check into it. Check the sheets, check the pillowcases, check the headboards, make sure you don't see anything that looks out of the ordinary. Check the shower curtain for mildew. Those are common places that the hotels miss and get cited for.
And do you have any final comments about hotel and restaurant inspections?
If you have any problems, feel free to contact Fulton County Environmental Health. We're here to serve and here to protect the public.
All right, well, thank you, Eli Jones, Environmental Health Deputy Director, for talking to us today about all the services your team provides. Now, we're going to switch gears to Cooperative Extension and talk about how they're teaching people how to grow their own fruits, vegetables, and herbs. The Director of Cooperative Extension, Mina Chester, walks us through some of the tips of the trade at one of the community gardens.
Hi, my name is Mina Chester, and I am Director of Fulton County Cooperative Extension. And today we are here at the Back to Eden Garden at the Georgia Adventist Academy School. This is a 4-H garden, and today we're going to talk about what to do to start your garden and some of the tools that you may need to start your garden. It's important that every good gardener have a hat. A hat in the garden is very important because of the sun that you will be exposed to, so this will keep your skin safe. Make sure you have lots of water. Make sure you have gloves to keep your hands safe too, because there are bugs that bite in the garden, such as ants and everything, so you want to make sure that you are safe in that manner. And it's easier to keep your hands clean too. Sometimes the soil can stain your hands, especially if you're working with red clay. Some of the other tools that you may need it's a soil scoop. It helps you to scoop your soil out. This is what we call a cultivator, and you may be familiar with the really big ones that we have, but if you're using in a raised bed garden, you might need smaller tools like that. Some other tools you may need are trowels, and it's very important that you have a good set of pruners. And here I have 3 different kinds of pruners. One is for little fine twigs, one is for medium-sized twigs, and this is for small branches and like rose bushes and that kind of thing. And you also need to make sure that your tools are of a color that you can easily find in the garden. So if you have different colored things in your garden, you can easily find them, and you need a small bag or something to carry them in, such as this one that we have here, so that you can lift this up and move from, if you have raised beds, you can move from bed to bed easily with all of your tools. Oftentimes people call our office and they want to know what kind of flowers should they plant. Here we have just a few flowers that have really nice colors. You need to plant things that are pleasing to your eye. We have some hydrangeas here. We have some Shasta daisies. This is a special kind of carnation, and some marigolds. And many times people may use marigolds to help keep off bugs that are not beneficial to plants in their garden. So they help them to keep those away from the garden. But it's nice to have things that are aesthetically pleasing, and that you can actually pick some of these flowers, put them in some water, and put them on your table. So that is awesome as well. We also get questions about what to do with potatoes when they start growing these little funny things on them. Actually, potatoes are a living being. They have lots of things growing on them already. They just are treated to keep them from growing for a certain time. And then after a certain time that you've had the potatoes, they'll start growing these little shoots. You can cut these off and put them in soil, and it depends on the time of year that you're planting. You may want to, you plant these in the fall, you plant these in the spring, and it takes a little while, but then you can have lots of potato plants from this one particular potato or this one sweet potato. So this is kind of cool, especially if you are trying to teach children where their food comes from. This is a great idea. You can do this in your front yard, and it produces a pretty nice plant. You just have to dig them up and know where your potatoes are. Today I have with me Miss Dorothy Mance, who is a Master Gardener. She's gone through the Extension Master Gardener training, and she's one of our volunteers. Miss Mance, I know that you grow the most beautiful tomatoes during the summertime, and they taste amazing because she shared them with us. Can you show us what you do when you plant your tomatoes? What do you do with this little wrapper here, and how do you get it in the soil?
Okay, the first thing you must do after the plant is completely soaked in water, you remove the wrapper, and then you look for the little bitty tomatoes plants that's growing, and you pull them off so you can have larger tomatoes. It's important that you pull these little tomato plants off, and then your soil has been prepared. You put it all the way down to the top and cover it. Make sure it's covered. And I do this so when it rains or when you water the plant, the water will go directly to the root of the plant. As the plant grows, you continue to pull off these little slips, and that'll make for a larger plant. It's important that you put your plants so many feet, maybe 3 feet apart, because as they grow, they will grow large plants and you won't have to worry about the tomato worm.
It's important that you make sure you know what you're planting in your garden. So you want to, some people don't like these in here, but if you have different varieties of tomatoes, you may have a yellow tomato, you may have a purple tomato, you can definitely know what it is if you have the little marker in here. And some people actually use paint sticks. There are different ways that you can attractively mark what is in your garden. So if you have any questions about gardening or what to grow in your garden or how to do a soil sample, please feel free to contact the Cooperative Extension Office. We're here to help you. We have Master Gardener volunteers in the community to assist you as well. So call us. We have offices all over this county. Please give us a call at 404-332-2400.
That's all of our time on Fulton at Work. We'd love to hear from you. Email us with your questions or comments to fgtv.feedback@fultoncountyga.gov. Or, of course, you can connect with us online on Facebook or Twitter. I'm Priscilla Ortega. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.